In this video, I'm going to show you exactly why you're not making progress within your training as a catcher. So that way, by the end of this video, you can understand the real reasons as to why you may not making progress in your physical skills like blocking, throwing, and receiving, and what the root causes of your stalled progression of your overall game behind the dish. I'm talking both mentally and physically, because I'm sure for you right now, you wish you were further along than you were with the skill sets that an elite catcher would probably have. And if you don't know me, I'm Coach Brock Johnson, founder and CEO of the Backstop Built full catcher training program, where I'm able to work with guys one-on-one daily with the proper evaluation and a plan so they know exactly what they're working towards. But what I want to go over with you guys today is the real reasons why catchers are being held back, and it all comes down to the training structure that we have available to us. I want to start by showing off how hard the position of catching actually is. If you were to Google what the hardest position in sports is right now, catching is either going to be one or top three on most of those polls. It's typically catcher, hockey goalie, or quarterback. But for anyone who has actually been a catcher and plays baseball, you know the responsibility that a catcher has and how there's about a list of 15 things that you need to be doing right all the time. And they're not even just physical. So with such a hard position, it begs the question of what does a development option look like for catchers to strive towards greatness? And I want you to think about who your favorite MLB team is and who the catcher is on that team. That's probably your favorite person in the league right now. And look at how good they are, how they're able to do all things behind the dish at an elite level. That's why they're a big leaguer. So their skill set is all the way up here, and now yours at whatever level you're at is down here. And that's understandable because you're not a big leaguer. But if you want to strive towards greatness and seeing your dreams come true, if you want to go to that level, there is a big gap in between. And unfortunately, there's only three main options to fill that gap for you as a catcher within your training development. Today, I'm going to be going over all three of the available options catchers have when trying to train and work hard towards improving their skill set, both mentally and physically, to the highest level possibly. We're going to start with option number one. This is going to be random drills on social media. This is typically a free option, by the way. This is where you follow maybe your favorite catching coach who has a social media platform. Maybe it's mine on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or even YouTube. They post a few drills with no real context or an outline for the progression that goes to, and you try them on your own. Maybe you take your dad to your backyard and you say, hey, I found this really cool drill. I want to try it, and we're going to try and implement it. And maybe it's cool, it's new, and it's exciting. Now we're going to talk about the issues with that. So the coach who prescribed that drill, you have no evaluation from him as to why that unique drill works and if you're doing it right. You also don't know if that drill goes to a bigger progression that is going to blend a feel altogether that's actually designed to help you, and if that coach is only showing that one drill. So you might only be doing one piece of the puzzle. I found in myself, when I built a cage in my backyard to do drills on my own and take this route as well, that I would typically try a drill and then I would fizzle out from doing it because I didn't know if I was doing it right. I also couldn't fill my whole training session up with just one drill. So I'd just be doing one random drill, and then over time, a bunch of random drills that I found from social media with zero evaluation, not knowing if I would do them right. My theory was if I did 100 reps a day, surely 20 of them would be good. The only issue with that is those 20 good reps aren't the only thing that count. There's still 80 bad reps. So now 80 bad reps is outweighing my 20 good reps. So biggest thing with random drills on social media is yes, they're free. Yes, there's good creators, especially like me, who are designed to try and help you as much as they can through social media. But without that one-on-one feel, you truly are going into it blind and trying to figure things out on your own. Biggest issue there as well is you are a player. You are not a high-level coach. So how do you know how to coach yourself? You should be focusing on being a player and working hard each day without having to stop and coach yourself along the way. Option number two, this is what I call group work at a high school or club ball practice. This is going to be a catching coach that either your club team provides or your high school does. And this is where you work with a group of catchers about 20, 30 minutes at practice in a group work setting, doing just things that a group of catchers are only able to work on. This might be bunt plays, this might be a couple throwdowns, but nothing specific for what you need or tailored to you. And it shouldn't be. That catching coach isn't getting paid to give a 1 hour lesson each day to each catcher. He is there to make sure that the catching staff skills are at the par for what the team needs. That's going to be a lot more situational awareness stuff. That's going to be a lot more making sure that you and the pitchers are dialed. It's not going to be how can we get your receiving better directly. He might point things out as he sees in games, but typically with these guys, you're only able to work with them for a total time of about 1 to 2 hours per week. And the issue with just relying on working with the group of catchers is those guys are your competition as much as they are your teammates. And And that's the cold hard truth. So if you work with all those catchers and get better that day, and you guys all took a step forward, that means everyone got better that day. How did you just separate yourself from the competition? You're still gonna go home, have to do random drills with no plan from that catching coach. He's probably not gonna allow you to send him a bunch of video or message him daily. He's not your one-on-one daily catching coach. You just paid your club ball fees and they said, we have a catching coach here. This is like a good add-on to work with him if you want here and there. And if you want more work, you're gonna have to pay for a 1-hour lesson or session with him per week. That leads me into training option number 3, which is when you and your parents say, I want to invest in my catching for sure, and I want to take my skills to the highest level, I'm willing to put money into it and time, and your only option is to work with a catching coach for 1 hour a week. Now, I want to preface by saying I used to do this too. I used to be an in-person catching coach. I would pack my weekends with sessions of guys I worked with, 8 sessions back-to-back on a Saturday, 8 sessions back-to-back on a Sunday, and honestly, I was pretty miserable as a coach. The quality of coaching for each guys at the later part of the day definitely went down, and I've noticed I was doing the same stuff over and over with players. The issue with this is the consistency, okay? You're only able to see him typically 1 hour a week, and you're at the expense of when he's available. It's very rare for you to be able to work with a catching coach twice a week unless you're willing to pay for another hour of his time. So the issue with consistency there is you're at the expense of what his schedule is, but also you're only able to see him 1 hour a week. What are you still able to do those other 6 days a week? You're on your own, back to option 1, random drills. So now you're still having to guess the other 6 days a week. Think about it this way. Does anyone go to their job 1 day a week? Do you go to school 1 day a week and you expect to learn math to try and pass that class or get better at your job? Absolutely not. You typically go every day, except for maybe 1 day off. So why is it our catching development with the coach who knows what they're talking about is only 1 hour a week? Let's say you're able to see him 4 times in a month. So 1 hour each week times 4 would be 4 hours of his time in an entire month. Do you think that's going to make you elite? Do you think that's going to get you to the level of who your favorite big league catcher is, or even a D1 college catcher? Absolutely not. That is such a slow way of going. Also imagine, let's say you only worked out at the gym 1 hour a week and thought you were going to make progress. Same exact thing. So it takes out the consistency entirely. The other big issue with it is price. The average cost for a good catching coach for 1 hour of his time is about $100. I talked to a family recently who said they were paying $60 for half an hour. Obviously, you're not going to just work with him for half an hour because by the time you stretch, there goes 10 minutes and you only get maybe 20 minutes of machine work that he's feeding. So you're really not getting his brain or anything crazy that's going to help you. So they were paying $120 for 1 hour of his time. And if you wanted to see him twice in a week, that's $240 for 2 hours of his time that week. That can add up extremely quick. It's also not consistent. And very rarely is a catching coach going to have a plan for you that you can follow outside of that 1 hour a week because you're only paying for his specific time in that moment. An underrated issue with working with an in-person coach is you're only at the expense of what catching coach is in your area. So if you live in a random small town in Indiana, who's the catching coach who's near you? You're probably going to have to drive 30 minutes to the closest facility, or I've heard of families driving about hour and a half to the nearest biggest city they can just to get a 1 hour catching lesson. So this is the reason why I don't do 1 hour sessions anymore with players, because I realized after every time I'd work with them, I'd ask them, hey, what did we work on last week? And every single kid every time said, well, I don't remember. What did we do? And I would say, did we do blocking? Did we do throwing, receiving? Try and question them. And they'd be like, I really don't remember. So it's not even sticking to a point to where they're remembering the last session because they're doing nothing the other 6 days a week. And they're honestly just relying on me for their development, that 1 hour of time. Parents feel good about it because they drop their kid off. I'm kind of babysitting them, just working with them. They really aren't taking their skill to the next level. And we're not working on anything mentally either because we're trying to jam everything physically, reps, into that 1 hour session. Now, I just want to clarify by saying, if you do any of these 3 options, I am not trying to say that you are doing things wrong. I'm also not trying to take away from anything you've invested in. I'm just trying to say that to me, development looks like doing things the right way consistently, not just 1 day a week. If you're able to do all 3 of these options and mix them in, yes, it's going to be sporadic. You're going to be doing a lot of random stuff, but at least you're probably getting your work in. So in no way am I trying to put you down for doing this or if your parents have invested in this. All I'm saying is now there's a way better option for you to actually have that consistent development every single day. Because again, let's go back to the school analogy. Think about what your least favorite subject is in school. For me, it was math, but I still passed my math class and I still learned math. It's because I had to go to math every single day and I went in and the teacher showed me what to do. I did it in front of her and then I took home homework to do it on my own and then turned it in for grading. And then I did that 5 days a week. So why is a position like catching, that's one of the hardest out there, any different? Why is the development so poor, so inconsistent? consistent, and we're all being lied to, honestly, by saying that a kid can get better just on his own or just once a week, instead of actually knowing that they should be doing things daily. Just like anything else that in life that you want to get good at, you have to be doing it consistently and doing it right, not guessing. So this is just something I'm obviously passionate about, and this is why I created Backstop Built, the full catcher training program, because what we believe in here is laying your best brick every single day. Just one brick, focus on building a solid foundation and laying it as perfectly as you can. That's what it means to be Backstop Built, because you're going to have an unshakable foundation, and then you can build a structure that is always going to withstand. That comes from being the best version of yourself behind the dish, not of your favorite catcher, not of someone else you've seen who looks like a good catcher, but you watching this, the best version of yourself behind the dish, both mentally and physically, maxing out those capabilities of your God-given talents as a catcher. That's what we strive to help catchers do. So my challenge to you is look at what you're doing in your training. What category do you fall in the most out of those three I gave you? A good exercise to do is look back on the past 7 days and fill out each day what you did that day and truly see, okay, what am I doing? Okay, I did one lesson on Friday. I didn't do anything the 2 days before that, and then I had group work at practice. You may see that you're doing all three of these and you're actually working with 2 catching coaches on top of doing random drills, so you're actually getting too much random stuff. Or you may find that, oh, I only work on my catching twice a week. And if you have big dreams for this game, like to play college baseball or at the D1 level or at the professional level, you need to have a reality check and realize that that's just going to stay a dream. It's never going to become a true reality that you see come true, because you're not doing the work to back it up. Everything has a price, everything has a cost, and the bigger your dreams are, the bigger the cost is. So why do you think that your catching development is exempt from any of those costs, and you're just going to get better by going to the cage and hitting, going to the gym and just lifting? You didn't become a better catcher that day, and that's the cold hard truth. So I hope in this video it inspires you to look back on your training, understand the playing field as what's available for catchers in the past, and now that I have a solid option that I decided to build for catchers, because myself, I went to 4 different colleges, bounced around, had to learn development on my own before making to the professional level, and now that's why I created the program for the player that I used to be, a hardworking kid, very attentive, had big goals and dreams, but also realized that I don't know what I'm doing because I'm a player and I need help. So if you're willing to admit that as well, check out the description below where I'll put my link to my website. You can apply to get on a call with me, see if you're a good fit to be one of the next catchers that I help go from backup or starter the level they're at to becoming the best version of themselves behind the dish, either at that next level or the level they're at currently. Also, please hit the subscribe button if you never want to miss a free training that's super valuable to help you with your catching development. Go ahead and like this video as well while you're at it. What we want to do here at Backstop Built is swim upstream and go against the grain of everything we've been told for our catching development, and honestly the false notion that you can get better at such an elite position by just doing things here and there. So take a look in the mirror, see what you're doing, and if you need help, please reach out. I'd love to show you how we're able to help guys all the time. My name's Brock Johnson. I'm striving to be the coach that I wish I had. God bless. Stay the course.